everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, I hope you all had a wonderful Easter holiday. Now, today I wanted to talk about this story. I posted about this story a few days ago or last week sometime. And for the first time in a very long time, I had some Sussex squatters attack me. The Sussex squad working for Harry and Meghan, responded to my tweet saying, "That's not true. No, it's not." So they really, really hate this story. So people should amplify this connection revealed by Tom Bauer in his book that Harry and Meghan had their trip to Colombia. Now, I'm sure there's probably many other things that we don't know about yet. Harry and Meghan are involved, as TRG covers extensively, Harry and Meghan's involvement with corruption with Ashley Biden and in Minnesota with James Holt and the Afghan refugee project that got billions of dollars, and the Democrats that Meghan called for Paid Leave Act. So all of these political connections on Democrat side that George Soros is connected to. George Soros has a home in New York State, and that's that Gillibrand woman that gave Meghan the direct phone numbers of other congresswomen to call when Meghan first arrived in the U.S. So I think George Soros and Meghan and Harry have been working together all along. We just now have documented receipts because Tom Bauer's research. We know this was paid for, but you can't tell me that just suddenly out of the blue, out of nowhere, George Soros decided to be generous and give Harry and Meghan $4 million. They've been working together a long time. And they've no doubt, in my opinion, all this corruption, all this millions of dollars floating around back and forth between James Holt and Harry and Meghan and their alleged philanthropy work. George Soros is no doubt, in my mind, directly involved in all of it. But at least we have proof of this one, and this is a big one. And it also makes no sense, right? Why is George Soros paying for Harry and Meghan to go to Colombia for 4 days? Obviously, they're doing something for him, and it must have been pretty important because George Soros gave them the private jet to fly down there on. So what was on that private jet and what was flown back into the country with Harry and Meghan? And if they're on private jets, they're probably not getting the scrutiny of what they're carrying, especially if Harry has an H-1 visa, right? So a lot of questions here. Somebody like Harry comes in handy for people like George Soros who want to smuggle things in and out that they wouldn't legally be able to. And with George Soros, that could be anything. We know he's a Satanist. We know the whole family is. We know Harry and Meghan are. Confirms that as well. So that's what I want to look at today. Why did George Soros, Harry and Meghan, what is their relationship? And why did he pay give them a private jet and pay their almost $3.8 million bill, covering all their security and lavish, hotels they stayed in. Harry and Meghan toured Bogota, Cartagena, and Cali, where they were put up in pricey hotels, flown to the country on private jet, and given use of one while there. They had a massive security detail. Francia Marquez's own motives for hosting the duo were suspect, as she's an anti-royalist and she's a communist. Just like Eileen Gu is. I'll do a future reading on her, Harry and Meghan. But anyways, all communists. Bauer, okay, so here we go. Tom Bauer claims that, quote, the source of funding of the Sussex's trip was to remain secret on the orders of Marquez, who would later claim that Harry and Markle's Archwell Foundation, quote, paid for their hotel and travel expenses, even though the costs never appeared on the said account's public financial statements. It says here, George Soros secretly paid for Harry and Meghan's trip. Harry and Meghan went first class with their accommodations in the cash-strapped country, staying at the Four Seasons presidential suite in Bogota, as well as top suites in Sofitel Legend in Cartagena, and the Marriott in Cali, all costing more than $3,000 per night. The entourage-heavy couple also needed a whopping additional 8 rooms for their team. The final bill came in at just $3.8 million for their trip, and the Colombian politicians balked at the price tag. Marquez told her government the cost to the country was only $59,000. She claimed the remaining costs were covered by, quote, philanthropic sources, without going into detail. That was a reference to the Open Society, an international charity financed by George Soros, the billionaire fund manager, Bauer writes. Marquez agreed with Meghan that Soros' involvement should be kept secret, including the use of his private jets. So that's the end of this. Oh, is that the end? Nope, there's more. So during an appearance with Kinsey Schofield, Bauer shared that Marquez extended the Columbia invitation to the Sussexes, hoping that they'd leave her a large philanthropic donation from the Archwell Foundation. Quote, the whole of Columbia trip is actually shrouded in unbelievable mystery and secrecy, not least because the vice president, a controversial woman, didn't want it to be known that in the end, the Sussexes, who she thought would contribute hugely to her charities, only left behind $8,000, which was only a tiny fraction of what she expected. No one could understand who paid for the Sussex trip, and she leaked that it was the Soros Foundation, a charity in Colombia, that had paid. The author adds. So again, Meghan's cheapness comes through. $8,000 is all she gave. And she was expecting a lot more. Meghan's very cheap. So that's why I kind of find it hard to believe she paid Ashley Biden $250,000 through Archwell. I think there's another story behind that. Harry and Meghan. Meghan is phenomenally cheap. This is the cheapest, pettiest woman you've ever met. So Bauer noticed, in my opinion, noted during the appearance that one reason for the hush-hush details of the trip was that Markle used it to stage a personal fashion show showcasing her outfits and bringing along a massive, expensive wardrobe. Quote, I think it was all in secrecy in that sense because it was a hugely controversial visit, Bauer claims. Meghan used it to promote her fashion line. She changed clothes at least 4 or 5 times a day, and there was always a link on how to buy the accessory or the dress on which she would get a commission. See, this is how petty this woman is. She would get these clothes, and there would be links to people buying it, and she would get a commission if anybody bought it. I mean, while she's doing her little royal tour, pseudo-royal tour here, this is how nickel and diming and petty she is. I mean, the same woman is selling a wickless candle for $80, right? Or a white label, Chinese made, jar of syrupy jam, syrupy spread. Excuse me, she can't call it jam, and or honey. That's no doubt not 100% that's probably got lots of things mixed, other things mixed in it, watered down, whatnot. And she sells these for $50, $60. Absolutely outrageous. So how cheap, and how just cheap in every sense of the word. And she sells cheap things. She's like, people say she's like the Walmart, Wallace Simpson. I mean, she really is in every way. But anyways, I want to look at her and Harry's relationship with the evil Satanist here, who is no doubt one of the major demonic forces behind the New World Order that's caused the whole COVID psyop and energy lockdowns and everything else. He is no doubt intimately involved with everything. So let's take a look at this and see what this relationship is. And like I said, this cannot just be a one-off. It's impossible. This has been going on a long time. And it does need to be shouted from the rooftops and repeated often, because apparently they really don't like it and they want people to forget. All right, so let's start with the Mildred Payne cards. And let's see here. What is the relationship between Harry, Meghan, and George Soros? This one dropped, didn't fly, but that's the bone. Oh, this one wanted to pop out. Factory. What is the relationship here? George Soros with Meghan and Harry. Oh, this one flipped over. Crow. The old crow megalodon, the omen of bad news. Frog. Fish. Snake. Saturn. That's a satanic symbol there. Can be seen as candle. Which is hat and dagger. Oh my goodness. Wow. I've got snake. I've got dagger. I've got Saturn. Yeah, this is definitely an ugly relationship, not based on anything positive, in my opinion. Just by looking at these cards, I see a lot of satanic witchcraft here. Well, I found interesting, I forgot to mention in that article, which I thought was interesting, because you know how TRG always calls Megalodon an agent of chaos. In the TMZ article, it says George Soros, I don't know if you can see that on the bottom of the picture. George Soros has been called an agent of chaos for some of the left-leaning organizations he's tied to funding. Yeah, agent of chaos. That is exactly what TRG calls Megalodon. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? The agent, this old, decrepit agent of chaos who's got one foot in the grave. He's got like both feet in the grave. I'm surprised he's still standing. And Megalodon is an agent of chaos. I wonder if she's being trained to replace Soros. That might seem laughable, but they're running in the same circles, and Meghan is certainly has been very active in politics and behind the scenes doing quite a bit with very powerful people who are a lot smarter and nastier than her, like James Holt and others who appear to use, because Meghan loves to be used to be on stage and draw attention and scandal to things. It seems like she's a useful puppet or distraction for the real evil Satanists behind her to implement their plans, you know, launder their money, steal our tax dollars, millions of them, in fact. But anyways, let's look at the relationship here. Soros to Meghan. They both are equally evil, running the same satanic groups, no doubt. So the bone is about mortality, leaving something behind, and also having something to hide. Strong foundations. Leaving something behind, having something to hide. It looks like he is leaving Meghan things behind. It looks like George Soros is cleaning house. You know, when you get older, you start giving away your things. You know, you're on the way out. Looks like Meghan's inheriting things from him. And one of those things, I have factory, which is hard work, industriousness, and bringing ideas into reality with the factory. So it looks like Meghan is helping Soros bring some things into reality. She is serving his plans, his agent of chaos. She's doing what he would normally do, but everybody knows who he is and how evil he is. So it looks like he's gotten Megalodon to do it. The crow, like it says, an omen of bad news. Moving from place to place and criminal activity. So now, surprisingly, the work they're doing is criminal activity. A little something hidden, something that for Soros to leave behind, his parting gift on this planet, Harry and Meghan, it seems. But I could say this is hidden work of criminal activity they're doing together there, which, you know, the cards are confirming what, you know, makes the most sense here. And the frog is about transformation. Oh, you mean like a New World Order transformation? You mean like the what was the name of that drug that they're talking? They've done scientific tests to prove that atrazine or something they use in the crops on our food can actually change the male frog into a female and vice versa. It's not surprisingly a lot of this. It appears a lot of this changing of genders is could be influenced by big pharma and what they're using on our food supply. But anyways, atrazine, I think it's called. I don't know if Harry, Meghan, and Soros are involved in that. It wouldn't surprise me if they were, but it looks like I take the transformation more of being transforming our society into a slave state for the New World Order. The frog also talks about disguise, disappointment, and something unpleasant you need to accept. So Soros is definitely behind Meghan. Something unpleasant we need to accept, unfortunately, and the royal family needs to accept for some reason. They can't seem to get rid of her, apparently. The fish is about pregnancy, unconscious thoughts. I think a brainwashing with unconscious thoughts, too. It also can be good fortune, and it may represent suspicion. So, transformation. Things you need to accept here. With now that fake pregnancy stuff, I don't know. Soros may be involved in that somehow, acquiring the two children if they exist. Disguise, disappointment. Now, yeah, something unpleasant. Unconscious. Focusing on things that are like brainwashing influences of Harry and Meghan, the way they affect people's minds, the way that they're a distraction, their constant puff pieces and whatnot. 74 is the hat, which is self-image or identity. Now, she has wielded her so-called identity as a weapon, hasn't she? A career choice or role one plays in life, sign of respect. I think this is about the role Meghan took on with the royal family. So I was thinking this transformation is something you need to accept here with the fish and the frog, with the role that Megalodon took. I tend to think that it's Soros is a large part behind how Meghan got into the royal family, her backing. There may be a connection there with, it wouldn't surprise me, with Meghan's handler, Marcus Anderson. Because we know he works for Ron Burkle? And I'm sure Ron Burkle is connected to George Soros. I mean, what criminal Democrat isn't, right? So, yeah, it's this disguise, transformation, and needing to being forced to accept this, good fortune. I mean, you can see it's good fortune for Meghan that she got this role as a member of the royal, title from the royal family, and she faked those pregnancies. I think maybe Soros helped her acquire the children, like I said. But that whole thing was intentional, I think, to create this drama, to bring out the transformation of attacking the royal family and their reputation, because we've got deceit, betrayal, and hidden aggressions. So, of course, that is definitely what Harry and Meghan have been doing against the royal family, and I think George Soros has been behind it all with Meghan, as well as Oprah Winfrey and all the other Satanists, right? Apparently, taking out the royal family seems to be part of the institution itself, not the actual members who are part of the New World Order, but to transfer it all into a global governance. So, but attacking the royal family is definitely on the agenda here. And because of the snake, which is fear, sexual fantasies, and temptations. And there's Lulu saying hello. I don't know if you can see her or not. She doesn't want to hear about no George Soros. Yeah, I know. It is awful. He is awful, baby. They're all awful. And then we get the Saturn, which I say is a set, can be a symbol of Satan, Saturn. Can also talk about adversities, hardships, dominance, authority, control. So this is, I think, the New World Order type of influence coming in behind Meghan. Meghan's got a very oppressive communist force behind her. That's New World Order, to take out anyone who tries to oppose their plan. And they're being very deceitful and evil. And of course, you could look at this as the snake bites. I'm sure George Soros made money, like Harry and Meghan did, by investing in Ethos, which made money from the vaccines. So no doubt this is all. And of course, George Soros made a ton of money from the testing. He invested in PCR testing companies in the U.S. They're planning on making millions and billions of dollars over the coming years. So a lot of connection there. And of course, Harry and Meghan pushed the death shots with their Vax Lives and other things. So there was a lot of money being made in murdering people in general, part of their satanic globalist agenda here was Saturn, literally a globe, right? Saturn, a planet here for the New World Order under the strict authoritarian, oppression of their tyranny. So this is all part of the New World Order. Harry and Meghan playing their part and George Soros backing them. And I can't see the other cards because Lulu has decided to plop herself down for a little while. So gotta wait just a minute. Well, Lulu is being stubborn today. She's not budging. Usually she'd get up in a little while, so I'll just put the cards on her. Maybe that'll chase her away. Got my deck here, and I will just I was going to do a whole spread, but let me see what I can do here. What's George Soros' attitude towards Meghan Markle? How does he see her in general? Their relationship. They obviously have a relationship. Yeah, what do we have here? The Sun. So he expected her and Harry to be very successful in whatever evil plots and plans they have. And Harry and Meghan, this is very prominent. Sunshine Sacks, getting a lot of publicity. Oh, and then crossing it. Wheel of Fortune reversed. So a very successful agent of chaos here, right? I mean, Wheel of Fortune reversed is just taking everything that happens, and normally you see it as bad luck, but Harry and Meghan you could look at as bad luck, but they take their fame and fortune and entry into the royal family and turn it into chaos, turn everything upside down, make everything crazy. That's why I see with the Wheel of Fortune reverse. Major Arcana on the world stage with the backing of a large criminal organization. So, yeah, very large, successful or project of chaos here in the world here. So Meghan and Harry are very important to George Soros. I guess they were a big project for him. He invested a lot in them and their chaos and their destruction and them being a distraction. Perhaps it was important to him to take out the royal family too. I've heard he hates the royal family. But what's the real reason? Why did he really choose them for this? 9 of Wands reversed. Oh my. You know, my first thought here, seeing this card, it looks like there's a man with all these dead bodies behind him, or like ghosts behind him. So I see this as 9 of Wands reversed as being overwhelmed by or in excess of culling the population and bringing in your evil. You know, the New World Order is a satanic system. It's one where they're trying to bring out, apparently, the Antichrist. They want to bring the end of literally like the end of the world. I mean, these Satanists want. They are trying to get everyone fighting with each other. And that's why they have the divide and conquer going with everything you can think of, every category you can think of, between ages, between genders, between religions, etc., etc. So he wants, the real reason they're all together is to bring about this satanic system, this antichrist system that is the basis of all of this and what they're trying to bring out. They're Satanists, literally. They're not just, they're evil. They are literally trying to bring out the Antichrist. So why did George Soros pay for the trip to Colombia? And I get this 6 of Cups. So I see this sort of some sort of exchange going on here. Like I said, I think Harry and Meghan brought something back for George from Colombia that he wanted. It could have been anything, really. I'm getting sort of something that he would really want, not necessarily money, but perhaps some kind of something evil he brought back, maybe that was important to him on an emotional level there. He wanted from there maybe some drugs of some sort, or something of that nature, something that he wanted brought back over there that was important to him. So there was this maybe children he wanted. 6 of Cups can refer to children. And we do know these evil people drink a lot of adrenochrome. And you've got a child here with a chalice, which the Satanists would drink. So, yeah. I think maybe there were some children brought back, possibly child trafficking. Yep, Harry, Meghan. And then what, let me see, I didn't ask a question yet. What does George Soros expect of Meghan Markle? What does he expect from her? Oh, look at that. Tower. Reverse. I think that's an excess of in this case. Yeah, Meghan, he's training her. He knows she is an agent of chaos. He is training her as such and backing her up to make sure she is as damaging and chaotic. And of course, I see this castle being blown up here. Yeah, what George Soros expects from Meghan is to destroy the royal family as well as the Western civilization, just to bring it just total destruction, in excess of. Meghan is a bomb that George Soros brought in to explode within the castle as well as within the country, the Western civilization. And of course, the lightning is another symbol for Satan or Lucifer. So yeah, so she is an agent of Lucifer, of George Soros, to bring in mass destruction of mentally and physically on everyone. Yeah. So what's how does George Soros see Megalodon? How does he see her? Look at that, the fool. Yeah, the fool. Of course, she's a fool. But Eight of Pentacles, a worker, someone doing work for him. So yeah, she is, he just sees her as an employee, slave, basically for himself. She is his protege. She is his little worker bee. She's there to do his bidding. And doing the bidding for Satanists like George Soros, you gotta do your job or you end up in a box. So, but Meghan, signed on the dotted line. She accepted it. So she is in with the Satanists. Right, Lulu? Yes, she is. Yeah. So, oh, look what just flipped out. You saw that? The devil. Yeah, they are. They're a bunch of Satanists. This whole thing is, you got to pray up because this is a spiritual war. It really is at the end of it. All of it. It's what it's all about. Ten of Cups, which is community. You can see as a royal family as well. And the Hierophant reversed, which would be I would see as George Soros. You could also see as a royal family type of card. But this is, George Soros is the one teaching Harry and Meghan everything, what to do, directing them, funding them. And of course, he is a destructive, he's giving them knowledge to be as evil and destructive as possible. And to affect, not just the royal family, but I think everyone, of course, everyone in the West especially. An agent of chaos to brainwash the youth and to spread, he's one of Satan's minions. He's, they're demonically possessed and they are doing their master's bidding. They all report to their master there. Yeah. So very, very evil. So the devil card popped right out there. They're both, equally evil. I think that it's quite clear. There's no doubts about that. So yeah, so they are working very closely together and will continue to do so. What's next for George Soros with Meghan and Harry, particularly Meghan? What's he doing next? So I have the Five of Cups reversed. So I see a worldwide pity tour here, playing the victim, the Five of Cups. And then I have Seven of Pentacles reversed, which is, you can see as reviewing, analyzing the next step of her job, which may be, as we know, going back into the royal family. Then we got Page of Pentacles reversed, which you can see as a child's card, plans for Archie and what they're going to do with him and what satanic role that he will play. And back to the Eight of Pentacles, more work, they're not done with the job. There's more to do secretively, as he reverses secretively here. So a lot more money laundering here with Pentacles. So much more to deal with earning and obtaining and spending our tax dollars, how to steal our tax dollars in order to murder as many as possible and cause as much suffering with the Five of Cups. Working in secretively, communicating in secret, and continuing to try to destroy our foundation and our money, our financial systems, and our land and our health. Coins here. So they continue the work in new ways, but it's not going to end for sure. It's going to continue on. They are strongly bonded together with their unholy alliance. And it's all very secretive. We only just now get a glimpse of his involvement. And like I said, He didn't just pounce out of nowhere and suddenly pay $4 million for a Colombia trip. They've been working together all along, no doubt, from the very beginning. So there you have it. I see the relationship of George Soros with Meghan Markle, one of destruction and death, and one that continues, and one that they do not like people talking about. And like I said, I almost never get attacked by Sussex Squad on Twitter. They ignore me. I'm just a little account. But when I posted this clip of the fact that Harry and Meghan are working with George Soros and George Soros paid for that trip to Colombia from Tom Bauer's book, I got quite a few attacks from Sussex squatters saying, no, it's not true. That's not true. So they come out and lie and try to say it's not true. And I also noticed that the mainstream media didn't pick up this. Radar Online posted this. I mean, again, this is from Tom Bauer's book. So if it's not true, they could sue him, but they won't because it is true. He has the receipts, no doubt. But no one in the mainstream media is reporting this. This is like the biggest scandal in his book about Meghan and Harry, in my opinion. And nobody in the mainstream media, ABC, NBC, CBS, nobody, Fox News, nobody's talking about it. No one. That George Soros paid for Harry and Meghan's trip to Colombia is one thing we know about. What else? Where are the journalists out there and analysts to dig into this, because it's important. I hope they already are, and it's just behind the scenes now. But this is huge, and none of the mainstream media besides Radar Online is covering it right now. So yeah, make sure to get it out there. Hopefully they are going to pick it up eventually. Sometimes they take a while, but this is, I think, the biggest scandal, and one that quite clearly, this one example just shows how evil Harry and Meghan are and what they're really about. Right? And it's not finding freedom. So there you have it. It's finding slavery for us is what it's about. Doing it by stealing our tax dollars to do it. Millions of dollars. So ridiculous. So anyways, I hope you found this interesting. This was a particularly evil one. Lulu stayed put. I think the evilness of George Soros and Harry and Meghan. Lulu wanted to clear the air. It was getting a little too heavy for her. She always comes by and cleanses the area if it's looking a little too on the dark side. But these are like the most evil people, right, that you could think of to talk about, do a reading about is these George Soros and Meghan and Harry. So yeah, so there you have it. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.